in the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Well, it has been a while since I've done a blog. I think the last ones were the Dark Side blogs when I was fishing in Kent quite a while ago now. And now fishing Frimley Pit 3. Absolutely beautiful place, 10 or 12 acres. Now, give it a rest. 10 or 12 acres, beautiful overhanging trees, lily pads, some really big old English carp, just what I want out of my fishing. And I waited a long time to get onto this venue, probably about 5 to 7 years. Eventually got the ticket, started fishing it back end of October, early November last year, and got off to a bit of a fly. Started off with 4 fish, and I didn't expect that, including a really lovely 39 pounder. But as you expect, starting off early winter, things were only going to get progressively harder as the winter went on. And they did. Up till Christmas, I managed about 9 fish, and the best being a common, just over 40 pound, really lovely, short, deep-bodied fish. Then I had a couple of months where I didn't come down, fished closer to home. Got back for sort of late winter, started coming down, and it was clear straight away. Not a lot had been out, and what was coming out wasn't off the bottom, it was coming on zigs. So if you can't beat them, join them. I got the zigs out, started fishing the zigs, and had quite a few fish, about 6 or 7 fish up to 39 pound. Few blanks as well. I'm not catching every session, sometimes I'm going 2-3 nights between fish, trying to do 2 nights every week. If I can't do 2 nights, at least do 1. And in the time that I'm fishing the zigs, I'm always putting a bit of bait in, because on lakes what you can get is everyone's fishing zigs and the fish ain't seeing any bait, which gives you a perfect opportunity to get a little bit of bait in. So once that sort of was all over, we came round to the spring, and the spring was going to treat me a lot better than the last couple of months prior to it had. So the spring was finally here, and it was nice to start actually seeing fish in the edge. One of these occasions that I was looking for a big snag, and I spotted one of the A-team, a fish known as the big fully scaled. On this occasion, she was sat with 2 other fish, a 20 pound common and a short fat dumpy fish. I baited up and they ate bait quite quickly, particularly the small common, and it weren't a surprise to me when later on that day, fishing against the snag, I caught it. It was 24 pounds. Had no other action that session, but the next week I was really gagging to get back. So the next week's come around, I've had a good look around the lake, and when I've got to this snag, the big fullies in there with this little short fat dumpy mirror still, and I was confident I was going to catch one of them. I put a little bit of bait in there, just crushed and broken baits, and within about half an hour both of them were visibly feeding on it. I got the rods out that evening, really expecting to get a bite first light. At first light I did get a bite, but it wasn't off the snag, it was on my right hand rod. And I had an absolutely beautiful 31 pound scaly mirror, a big long one. Frimley's really known for its commons, and when I joined it was to try and catch a BB common, but since fishing here I've started to realise there's a lot of really good mirrors in the lake, so I've been enjoying catching them, and there's a few that are right up there on my target list, almost over the commons now. But back to the story. So yeah, later on that morning I've got another bite, and it's resulted in the short fat mirror. Really mega looking carp, little scales all over it. Looked a proper old school fish, but it isn't. It's actually one of the stockies, been here about 10 years, but really cool carp, 28 pounds. Got that back, and nothing else happened that session, but walking away with 2 fish under my belt, I was more than pleased. So next session down, I was really apprehensive that, no one had gone in that swim, and caught that big fully, because she was definitely up for it. When I've got round to the snag, she's still sat there. Within 20 minutes of putting bait in, she was in there and eating it. I fished that night really tight on the snag, and nothing happened. I think it weren't until the second night that I fished tight on the snag and one slightly off it. The rod that was just slightly off the snag received a take just on first light. And I picked up the rod and straight away I knew it was a better fish. It really did try to get back into the snag. Lots of side strain, got it out. Not a massive fight, but as it rolled just in the darkness, I originally thought it was a big common, and I slipped the net under it, and I wasn't shocked when I looked in and saw it was the big fully. I knew that she was going to trip up because she was eating so much bait, but I was absolutely over the moon. Definitely one of the A team in the lake, and one of them, you know, when you see a photo of her, you think, I really do want that one. So let's take a look at her.
Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sunrise, when the sun.
So it was a week later after catching the 44 fully, wasp, useless creature, that I was back down, and I got down early morning. I got the first crossing from the train crossing, and when I walked on there was a lot of fizzing in the centre of the lake, and I can only think that it's where bait had gone in the weekend. There was these fish just turning over the bottom. So I wasted no time. I quickly got a rod out there just on a free bait stringer, and the stringer is like a forgotten method. Everyone's putting bags on now, but a little PVA stringer is still lethal. The rods were out, just two laying on the floor, about an hour, and one's gone. I've had a lovely 28-pound common, and I thought, right result. I'd only been on the lake like, you know, half an hour. I went back to the van to get the rest of my kit, and in Lake 2, I chucked some bait in the morning, which is a lake right next door to Free. I dropped a rod in the edge on my centre pin. Within about half an hour, the centre pin is whizzing, and I'm playing this fish out, really strong fight, and got it in. And for Lake 2, it looked a good fish. So I ran and grabbed a mat and scales, and she weighed 27 pounds 12 ounces. Really lovely mirror. So my morning was off to a flyer. I'd literally been here a morning. I'd had a 28 out of one lake and a 27-12 out the other. I walked down the lake and I saw some fish in a snag, the same snag that I'd seen the big fully in. So I set up in that swim, got a rod on the snag, and I thought I may as well put another rod in open water on a free bait stringer, just in case there was any other fish out there. By this time, it had gone quite quiet. That rod didn't move all day, but 7 o'clock the next morning, it pulled up to a really steady take, like a typical big fish take. And I was into a really good fish, stripped about 30 yards of line off me on the initial run, which a lot of the carp in Frimley don't do. They tend to be plodders, but this fish was angry from the off, and yeah, probably like a good 10-15 minute fight. It was trying to get into the lilies, and I was on a rotator rig, which is like a Ronnie rig, but in quite a fine wire hook, so my heart was in my mouth as it was trying to get under the trees. But eventually I managed to get it in the net, and I couldn't believe my eyes. It was one of the other fullies. I'd caught two of the 40-pound fullies almost back to back, this time a fish known as Jerry's at just over 41 pounds. Let's take a look at her.
When the sunrise, when the sun.
Well, what a day. Set up yesterday up the other end on quite a few fish. They were looking a little bit spawny, and in the evening, as the sun went down, they moved off of the shallow bar. There's always a train going past, I'm talking, isn't there? And yeah, they just disappeared. This morning I got up, and last night I did notice about 2 a.m. a southwesterly got up, started pumping down the other end, so I wasted no time, got up in the morning, moved down here, and what a right move that was. Had an absolutely brilliant day. First fish, really old looking 3310. I hadn't had a fish for a few nights on here, so it was nice to get a bite. And I'd seen this fish, I photographed it for Lou, one of the bailiffs on here, probably about 8 weeks ago. Really nice old carp, so I was happy to get that. Got the rod back out, cast to a showing fish, the wind's pumping in and I'm starting to see fish all over me. And put a rod out on a showing fish. About half an hour later it's gone off, mega fight, took me in the pads and everything, got it back out. Another 33 pound common, again an absolute belter. Got the rod back out again, it's gone again. I've had a 20, so I've had 3 fish today after blanking for 24 hours. So it just goes to show, like, 5 minutes in the right area is better than 24 hours in the wrong area. But I've still got tonight and the wind is absolutely pumping in here, look at it. Sun's going to be setting in a little while, and yeah, it's a magnificent evening. I've just had a steak and a bottle of beer. Life's quite good. Hopefully I'll get tonight in, go home tomorrow. There's a chance of a big fish, I've just got a feeling. I've seen a good fish show and there's a real chance for big fish. Just a numbers game, to have 2 30s and a 20 says the next fish could be a real good one. Yeah, I'm feeling confident. Well, I'm trying to keep the light out your eyes. I'd literally just finished doing that talk and the rod's gone again. And I've got a nice 30 pound mirror in the net where it looks a 30 pounder. So the 4 fish has been a mirror, 3 commons and a mirror. 4 fish in a day out of here is a result, I can tell you. But yeah, excellent, well chuffed. I'm gonna get it weighed up, get it out and we'll have a look at it. A beautiful evening, get the rod back out. Could be more yet. Going for my record. My record is 4 fish. Last October, my first ever session on here, at the end of October I had 4 fish. I've never done that again, so I've equalled that now. Buzzing! What a lovely carp. 32 pound, third 30 of the day. Lovely. Well, got a wake up call from a carp, absolutely mental take. Pulled the rod off the rest and everything. About a 26, 27 pound common. Just letting go. Mad fight. After having the 330s yesterday. Well, I didn't want to get him out. It was milting all over the place in the net, I could see it. So they're not far off spawning. Then fell asleep, got woken up by the first train in the morning. I think I'm just going to get up, accept defeat and get the kettle on, stop being lazy. Hopefully it's time for one more. I've got till about 12 o'clock, so 6 bites, or 5 bites, 6 out of here in a session is very good. But yeah, I'm pleased no matter what. Get up now and put the kettle on.